So you're selling on Flipkart. You know there's a huge opportunity there, but let's be honest, it's a battlefield. You're up against over a million other sellers. The ones who win, they aren't just getting lucky. They have a playbook. And today, we're going to build that exact playbook for you, focusing on the two things that really move the needle, your pricing and your campaigns. Let's jump right in.
Just to give you a sense of the scale we're playing with, look at this number. 54,500 crores. That's not a typo. That was the value of sales that Flipkart and Amazon did during just one festive week. So yeah, the money is definitely there.
So the real question isn't about the size of the pie. It's how do you get your slice? And spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with luck. It is all about strategy. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now.
Here's a quick look at our game plan. First up, why pricing is your single biggest weapon. Then we'll get into the core strategies you absolutely have to know. From there, we'll talk campaign planning. Then we'll cover the metrics you need to watch and the big mistakes to avoid. And we'll wrap it all up with a 30-day action plan you can start using tomorrow.
All right, let's dive into our first section. On a platform like Flipkart, you have to understand that pricing isn't just a number. It's not a set it and forget it thing. It is your number one most powerful lever for getting seen and getting sales.
Think about what's really happening here. You've got over 400 million customers, all comparing prices in a split second. At the same time, you're competing with 1.4 million other sellers for that coveted buy box. And on top of all that, Flipkart's own algorithm is built to reward the most competitive prices. So, what does this all mean? It means if your price is even slightly off, you might as well be invisible. It doesn't matter how amazing your product is.
Okay, so let's get into the mechanics of it all. To price like a pro, you've got to master the fundamentals. These are the models that pretty much every single top-tier seller is using on a daily basis.
Now, before we even talk about your selling price, we have to talk about your costs. And wow, look at this table. It's a lot. You've got commission fees, fixed fees, shipping, possible return costs, and then GST on top of all of it. If you don't have these numbers calculated down to the last paisa, you could literally be losing money on every sale without even realizing it. A good rule of thumb, expect your total marketplace fees to eat up 25 to 40% of your selling price, and that's before you even factor in the cost of your product. Seriously, profitability starts right here.
So, once you know your true costs, you've got two basic ways to approach pricing. First, there's cost plus. You can think of this as the inside-out method. You take your costs, add the profit you want, and boom, that's your price. It's safe, and it guarantees you make money. Then there's competitive pricing. This is outside in. You look at what your competitors are charging, and you price accordingly. This is way more aggressive. But here's the secret. The best sellers, they don't pick one. They use a blend of both.
And now for the real pro-level stuff, dynamic pricing. This is the opposite of set it and forget it. This is about actively changing your prices based on what's happening in the market right now. For example, maybe your biggest competitor just ran out of stock. Guess what? You can nudge your price up a little. Or maybe sales are a bit slow on a Tuesday afternoon. You can drop the price just a tiny bit to get things moving again. This is how you squeeze every last drop of profit out of every single day.
Okay, so we've got our pricing strategies down. Now let's talk about where to use them. Because having the perfect price is one thing, but deploying it like a weapon during a massive event like Big Billion Days, well, that's what separates the top 1% of sellers from everyone else.
Here's a key insight. You don't win Big Billion Days during the event. You win it in the 6 to 8 weeks before. This 3-phase plan is your roadmap. Phase 1, that's all prep work. Get your listings perfect, build up your inventory. Phase 2 is about creating that early buzz. And Phase 3, that's go time. That's execution. Trust me, on Flipkart, the most prepared seller always wins.
So, during these big campaigns, where should you put your ad money? This is a fantastic starting point. You can see the lion's share, about 65%, should go to product listing ads, or PLAs. Why? It's simple. These ads catch people who are already searching for what you sell. They have the highest intent to buy. Banner ads are great for awareness, but PLAs are what close the deal.
So, you've set your price, you're running your campaign, it feels like everything is going great. But how do you know if it's actually working? And what are the hidden traps that can totally sink all your hard work? Let's talk about that. All right, this right here is probably the single most important ad metric you need to be obsessed with, ROAS. It stands for Return on Ad Spend. It's a simple question. For every 1 rupee you put into ads, how many rupees in sales do you get back? As you can see, the average seller gets about 2.5 back. But your target, it needs to be 4x or higher. If you're not tracking this, you're not advertising, you're just guessing.
And here's a tough truth that a lot of sellers miss. Flipkart's algorithm cares just as much about how well you run your business as it does about your price. I mean, you can have the best price in the world, the best ads, but if you have a low seller rating or you're slow to ship things out, the algorithm will just bury you. Operational excellence isn't a nice-to-have, it's a must-have.
Okay, think of these as the 5 cardinal sins of selling on Flipkart. Number 1, racing to the bottom on price and just killing your own profits. 2, totally ignoring your seller metrics. 3, running ads without knowing your ROAS. 4, forgetting about all those fees and thinking you're profitable when you're not. And 5, bad inventory planning. Just avoiding these 5 mistakes will put you way ahead of most of your competition.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's bring it all together and make it real. Here is a concrete, step-by-step plan for what you can do over the next 30 days to put all of this into practice.
Here it is, your mission for the next month. Week 1 is all about auditing. Know your numbers, know your competition. Week 2 is strategy. Decide on your pricing approach and plan a small test campaign. Week 3, you optimize. Make your product listings look absolutely incredible. And then in week 4, you execute. You launch, you monitor, and you learn. This is how you build real momentum.
And really, that's what it all comes down to. Winning on a marketplace this competitive isn't about some secret hack. It's about smart pricing, careful planning, and just relentless execution. The opportunity is absolutely massive.